Well, here's the amazing thing. This is a time in the movie business where it's really a contracting business. I, have gone from being a studio executive to a producer back and forth a couple times, kind of like Joe has, but not with the success that Joe has done it. And the irony is, in the time when the movie business is contracting so much and it's so rough right now, Joe, you are having like the most successful streak of your producing career, probably I would say, right at this moment. You've got 3 movies in wide release right now. You got Maleficent, right?
Yeah.
Heaven is for Real, $1 Million Arm.
Right.
So it's quite extraordinary. So and in a time when, by attrition, lots of people have dropped by the wayside. So I was just curious. I think what's interesting is if there was a strategy that you adopted, be it a creative strategy or a business strategy, that you credit for all this recent success.
Well, it's kind of both, really. The last 5 years, I produced Alice in Wonderland, Snow White and the Huntsman, Oz the Great and Powerful, and the 3 movies you just mentioned. And what those 6 pictures have in common is none of them cost me a penny to get the rights to, and actually anybody in this room could have produced any one of those 6 movies, or all 6 of those movies. So that's a little bit of irony, I think.
It is. That's extraordinary because,
because these are all come from public events and they're public domain. Alice in Wonderland and Oz and the Snow White Tale and
Very shrewd.
$1 Million Arm is something I picked up on a ESPN 3 a.m. I can't sleep thing.
Wow.
And Heaven is for Real was a little squib I read in the Sunday New York Times about a unpublishable book about a little boy who goes to heaven, and what's the other movie? Oh, and Maleficent, that one. It's just a spin on Sleeping Beauty, told from what we have previously considered the villain's or the villainess's point of view. So that's it's not because I'm cheap. It just happen that way. There's a bunch of stuff I have in development that are books and things like that, but. The point is there are stories everywhere, and you can't take the position you don't have the money to option them, because I just produced about $3 billion worth of films that didn't have a penny against them to get in. It just took, and it's an interesting thing about our business that nobody thought of it earlier.
It's really fascinating
because it's just out there
Yes.
to be taken, and it kind of started when I was at Disney and did 101 Dalmatians, live action with Glenn Close playing Cruella de Vil.
Yep.
And it was just a way of taking, looking for something that you can create urgency out of to some group of people. That's the entire job of a producer. Looking for something that you can create urgency out of for a group of people. Just like those girls that are all going to Fault of Our in Our Stars this weekend, or which is really no different than Hunger Games or Twilight. The movie business, because of the proliferation of all the other ways in which you can entertain yourself, has become a heat-seeking missile. And unless you have something that immediately cries out for urgency, you just don't have a chance of getting it made. And if you do get it made, no one's going to come.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna say everything I say is about 95% true. But it doesn't. It just means that if you want to live on the other 5%, you got to bet a 20-to-1 horse, and I hope you win. But it's true. It's so Marvel is worth every penny Disney paid for it because it creates, there's a creative urgency to a group of people, which is mostly young male group, and this notion that you have to have 4-quadrant movies and things like that. Now, it may have been true at one point. I don't really think it was, but okay, let's pretend that it was. It's certainly not true now. What you need now is something that appeals to a segment of the audience, but appeals to them in a way that they can't resist.
Yeah.
And so rather than digging a hole 5 miles wide, you want to dig a hole that's maybe a foot wide, but goes down, to China.
Right.
And what happens is that whole group will come, and then they'll drag along significant others. And so it's sort of humorous to watch marketing departments try to turn female movies into, well, maybe we can get the guys, or maybe we can cross over and get the older women, or you read some commentary about, older women aren't going to come, and therefore they're not going to do that well. And it's nonsense. It's all nonsense.
Well, here's what's interesting. I think you're right. I think it was always that.
Well, I know I'm right.
Right. I mean, but hitting that
part of it, I know I'm right.
But hitting that target and hitting one target and really hitting it,
Yes.
as opposed to the 4-quadrant kind of mantra that we lived under, or we still are living under to some degree.
It doesn't exist. You know what 4 quadrants means? Nobody's coming.
Okay, but okay. Then how do you explain this? Your movies, whether it's Oz, Maleficent, Alice, they seem to me to be 4-quadrant movies.
They're not.
Okay.
They're not. No teen boys came to Alice. We did $1.1 billion.
Wow.
It's what people don't understand. It's like, just think about the world. There's 7 billion people in the world, and most of them now are exposed to movie theaters thanks to what's gone on in China and Russia over the past few years. I mean, if there were 4-quadrant movies, they'd be grossing $5 billion.
Right. Right.
That just doesn't happen. I mean, we'll see what happens when Star Wars finally comes out, but the fact of the matter is there's an almost unlimited pool of girls 12 to 18, or boys 12 to 18,
Right.
or or if you get lucky, 12 to 25 or something like that. So it's kind of knowing who you're selling to. It's no different than any other consumer product. You wouldn't go out and sell Clorox to 9-year-olds. You want to sell to housewives.
Absolutely.
And so I there's 3 things. I like to read something that I love, and then if I love it, try to figure out, is there a group that I can create urgency to it?
Yeah.
And then figure out what the movie is about past what the movie is about, so that I can explain it to the marketing people. So if I can take a second, Alice in Wonderland is about girls' empowerment.
Yep.
Right? Snow White and the Huntsman, believe it or not, is about girls' empowerment.
How about Maleficent?
Maleficent Maleficent is about 2 things. One, it's a mother-daughter love story, right? But the stronger message to girls/women is how far you can go and still retain your ability to love. Heaven is for Real is asks the question that everybody who's ever lived must ask at some point in their life: what's it like after I die? Right? Which the reason I bought it was because I had produced Sixth Sense. We did Sixth Sense.
Absolutely. Yes.
Which asked the same question, that underneath these clothing, there has to be a singular thing that you're looking for. Oz, The Wizard of Oz was a great journey, the original 1939 movie. Our Oz was a second chance movie, which I like.
Right.
Which is how, very simply, how does a selfish man become selfless?
Right.
Right?
Right.
And so in $1 Million Arm, well, I mean, again, here's 2 boys from, the poorest parts of India can somehow get major league contracts and meet the President of the United States. You go into the movie theaters and you hope that there's something that makes you feel something.
Yes.
And if it doesn't make you feel something, primal something, like I'm going to cry my eyes out, I'm going to laugh my head off, I'm going to shriek with terror, I'm going to be amazed. Right. If it's not doing that, I don't think anybody's coming.